We're back, y'all. We're back. We are back. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh man, actually looks good. Ah, what a day! What a day! Good morning, y'all. Okay, I don't plan on being here long today, but I always say that, don't I? All right. So yesterday we're talking about the how fathers. The Bible speaks in Ephesians 6:4 how fathers can provoke their children. And oftentimes I've seen sometimes the fathers go too far in pushing their kids to be what they wanted to be. We've all seen this parent who's gone too far in pushing their child. And there's a balance between pushing and motivating and driving them. I read a story about a baseball player. Um, his father was so hard on him that I believe he became 19 and he ended up shooting his father, killing his father. And so there's a thin line between motivating and belittling and hurting. So we have to be mindful that in this process of pushing our children forward, that we have balance. Yes, there is law, but there's also grace. Yes, there's motivation and inspiration, but we have to be careful that we don't motivate in the negative fashion. So yesterday we were talking about that, and today we're going to continue. And I want to give you an example of this, and it's from this. It's a bad example. First Samuel, chapter 20, verses 30 and 31. It reads this: Saul boiled with rage at Jonathan. Jonathan, his son. Now, if you don't know the story, King Saul had an issue with a man named Goliath, and Goliath was a giant, and um, he was in the middle of a field, and he was asking uh, the people of Israel to bring a warrior out to fight him. Everyone was scared. David at the time was a young shepherd boy, but he saw the situation and he says, what will the man who fights and defeats him get? Well, the reward was his family would pay no taxes. He would marry the king's daughter, and he would be up an elevated position. So, of course, David, being the dude he was, says, "Okay, I'll fight him." So when people heard that David was willing to fight him, King Saul had him come to meet him. He was shocked at the size and the stature and actually the age of David. And he told David, "You cannot beat Goliath. Goliath has been fighting people for a long time." David said to him, "You don't know me like that." I'm paraphrasing. And he says, when the bear came after my father's sheep, I killed him. When the lion came, I killed him. And just like I killed the lion and the bear, I'm going to kill this dude named Goliath. So at that point, King Saul decided to give him his armor. And David tried the armor on, but it did not fit him. And he says, "This armor, I have not trained in this. I cannot take this." So David says, "I appreciate your armor, but I got to roll with what I got." Well, David went out and he slew Goliath. He had 5 stones. He threw the stone, hit Goliath. And from that point on, he was elevated. After the elevation, he went to work for King Saul. And after one battle, David came back. Now, this is a lot of Bible I'm teaching you, but I'm in a short period of time, okay? And when David came back from the battle, the women on the street, like cheerleaders were said this: David, no, Saul kills his thousands. David kills his tens of thousands. So what happened? They started giving, they started hyping David because of what he did. Now, there's nothing wrong with what David did. David did what King Saul told him to do. But King Saul could not handle somebody else getting shine. Oh, boy, oh boy. So this will help somebody today. So what happens, uh, Saul's the king. You run everything. but he allowed the noise to cloud his judgment. So he got caught up in hearing his subordinate get praise. I don't know who need to hear this, but stay in your lane. If somebody underneath you, meaning they are lower rank, gets some shine, let them shine. You the superior, you the one that put them in a position to shine. But Saul did not do that. And biblically stating, the Bible says when Saul got jealous of David getting shine, God released King Saul from being king. Now, he was still king, but he didn't realize he was fired. God's the only person who will fire you and let you stay on the job. Now that you don't even know you fired. Now, why did this happen? Once you feel that someone can take what you have, you believe that you earned it or that it belongs to you. Meaning, he didn't realize that everything he had came from God. He stopped looking at God as his source, and he's trying to protect what God gave him. Everything you have belongs to God. And when you start tripping, God starts allowing things to leave your life because you have forgotten who gave it to you. So, it's funny how I tell people all the time, I have learned that people often give more broke. What do you mean by that? See, when you have a little, you ain't got no problem giving. But for some reason, when people get more, they become very protective. But when you didn't have anything, you were liberal. You were generous. But when you have stuff, you start to get. And so what happens, he made the mistake of starting to think it was his. So he got angry. And now he wants to hurt David because he feels David is a threat to him. Remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And if God gave you the position, just do right and you'll keep the position. And if God transitions you, don't worry, it's going to be all good. Why? Because you're working for the king. And if God is moving you, he's moving you up as long as you're faithful. But don't get paranoid. Okay, so here it is. Now look what anger let him do. 1 Samuel 20:30 reads this. Saul boiled with rage at Jonathan, his son. You stupid son of a whore. That's in the Bible, Pastor? It's in the Bible. You stupid son of a whore. Wow. He swore at him. They cuss in the Bible. Yes, they do. See that? See that? Okay. Do you think I don't know that you want him to be king in your place? Shaming yourself and your mother? As long as that son of Jesse is alive, you will never be king. Now go and get him so I can kill him. Saul was concerned about his kingdom, and his legacy. Jonathan was David's friend, and they made a blood covenant. That's where they get the word blood brothers. And they said the gist of the covenant is, if something were to happen to me, you're going to take care of my kids. And if something happens to you, I'll take care of your kids. Jonathan didn't care about the kingdom in reference to him being king. He just wanted to be faithful to God. And sometimes people allow their position to taint their thought process. Everything belongs to God. Don't get so caught up in your position that you start to do things that are adverse to who you are. So many times in the workplace, we have people doing all kind of ratchet stuff, trying to hold on to their job. All of us have had that person who were over us at work, but you knew that you knew more than they did. Come on. For those of you on social media, put yes, put yes. Have you ever worked for a boss and the boss knew that you were smarter than them? Just put a Y. And they give you all their work because and they lean on you, but they getting paid for it. I know a whole bunch of nurses feeling my pain right now. A whole bunch of nurse practitioners feeling my pain right now. Whereas they and then get mad at you when a person says thank you. Oh, it happened to me in church. It happened to me. I was not the senior pastor, nothing like that. But a member came to me, not this current church, but a former church. And he said, Pastor Jomo, can you pray for me? He said, I need a house. So I prayed for him. And I don't know what made me do it. I said, in 7 days, you're going to have a house. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. Well, the brother came back the next Sunday and he said, Pastor Jomo, I got a house. So he told the whole church that Pastor Jomo said I was going to have a house in 7 days and I got a house. Oh my God. That pastor about killed me with words. Don't you ever do this. And don't you? I said, golly, threatened. And that was the beginning of the end for me at that position. And I realized, hear me on this, y'all. Don't kill your Davids. What do you mean by that? You may have somebody that you're over right now that will end up helping you get to your next level. But so many times when we're threatened, we make bad decisions. If God be for you, who can be against you? God gave you the gift. God gave you space. Stop tripping. So in this manner, Saul speaks death on his son. Well, guess what happened to the son, y'all? Come on, guess what happened? He died. Yes, he did. He died. But who said it? You stupid. And see, we don't understand how our words have power. Verse 4 speaks to a father, but mothers also have a vital role in teaching our kids. See Proverbs 1:8. It reads, listen, my child, don't neglect your mother's teaching. Dr. Karen Purvis said, so often parents, we have to say no to a lot of things. Oftentimes we have parents say no because it's easier. You don't want to stop what you're doing. You don't think it would be fun or fun for them. Saying yes would put more work on it. Meaning, sometimes we say no to everything without explaining things. My last child, Josiah, is very inquisitive, and he asks why a lot. And I try to make sure I explain everything to him so that he doesn't feel like shut down, because that's not the goal. We don't want to say no to everything because it sets their mind in the wrong place that they never want to ask us anything. No, we want to explain. We want to get information. We want to give direction. We want to give knowledge, because we are trying to build these young people to think. So we have to be mindful what we speak over our kids, and don't allow jealousy and envy to creep in, because you don't realize the ramifications of some of these decisions with your words. He says, you stupid son of a whore. I'm thinking to myself, he's your child. You can't say that. But I've heard many parents who have gone through a divorce speak ill of the mother and speak ill of the father. Please don't do that. I don't know, whoever I'm talking to, please stop killing your husband. Stop killing your wife with your words. Ex-husband or ex-wife, or the baby daddy or baby mama. You don't understand the damage you're doing. I'm telling you. You think that by speaking negatively against your ex to the child, that you're making the child love you more. I'm telling you, it's going to boomerang. You reap what you sow. I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but be mindful. Let the child figure it out for themselves. Don't coach the child to hating their mother or hating their father. I know I'm getting all up in somebody's business right now, but I ain't scared of you. I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. There's a harvest that comes on that child because of your words. Don't do it. They're not perfect. Cool. Let the child figure that out. But you don't need to be feeding that child poison about their father or mother. They will see if daddy don't show up. They will notice if mama don't show up. They will notice if mama or daddy lies all the time. They will see it for themselves. And when they understand, then they come to you and you say, yes, that's true. And that's it. But you should not be poisoning them because, again, you're messing up their psyche towards men, women, father, mother. You are damaging them. They will find out in time, but too many of us want to pour poison into our kids. And I'm telling you, it does not work out. Please hear me. Please hear me. Please. I see it too much. You know your daddy nasty. Now, it's understandable if the child, the teenager, the young adult comes to that conclusion on their own. But it should not be based on the culmination of you pouring poison in that child's ear for 10 years. It's not good. Remember, death and life are in the power of the tongue. I don't know who I'm talking to right now, but please, please hear me. Please hear me. Please. You are not helping that child by speaking ill of their parent. If you want to talk about somebody, ooh, I'm about somebody can get mad at me. Talk about yourself. You laid with them. So if they crazy, you crazy. You slept with them. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. Then don't. Well, again, the child didn't have a choice. So please stop damaging their psyche, their mental. Because now what their harvest will be bad relationships. Because now they will look at every man or every woman a certain way, which should not be the case. They should be able to judge each person on an individual basis, but they will not be able to do that because you have programmed them wrong. I know. Now, let me be clear. I know there are ratchet men. I know that there are ratchet women. I know they're deadbeat this and deadbeat that. I understand that. But my point to you is it's not your job to tell them that. They will find out on their own. Your job is to be light. Your job is to be salt. Your job is to show them the way. And in the process of time, they will come to the understanding on their own. I sat down with some young men that I mentor, and I told them, I said, listen, your daddy had some challenges. My daddy had some challenges. All men and women have some challenges. But what I don't want you to do is, I don't want you to hate him. I don't want you to be bitter. I want you to grow. And don't allow his lacks or his deficiencies to change how you feel about men and fathering. He had an issue, and he never learned how to manage his issue. So we're going to give him grace and forgive him. But let's take what we learned from him and become better men, become better fathers, become better husbands, and take it as a lesson. That's the goal, y'all. But negativity, the Bible says fire does not put out fire. Somebody has to speak life. Now, I don't know who I'm talking to. Y'all know I'm just letting the Lord use me. I pray it helps somebody today. I love you. Some of y'all need to share this right here. Anyway, love you to life. Have a wonderful day. God bless and Godspeed. Bye-bye, everybody.